Hi, Zach.
Hello.
How are you today?
Wonderful.
Good to see you. I just want to ask what brings you in today.
Well, I was looking for some career counseling, and I heard that you were the person to reach out to.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I think I'm just really unhappy with where I'm at currently and want to find ways to grow my professional repertoire, just in terms of abilities, skills, what I might be able to do to get closer to the creative freedom I'm looking for in a position. Is that something you can help me with?
Yeah, we can certainly do that. We just like to look at different areas of your life, look at your interests, what you enjoy, your values, your strengths, and all that. Kind of look at the whole picture to help you develop some career options that will work good for you.
Okay.
So we're just going to do some assessments and get to know you a little bit better. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. I just want to go over first confidentiality. We just like to go over that. It's just a respect of privacy. It means that I'm not going to share any personal details about you. They're going to stay in this room unless you say that I can,
Oh yeah,
share
go
that
for it.
information. But
Yeah, if it helps another person.
yeah, of course. Okay, so tell me about your educational history. Did you attend college?
So I only have a high school diploma. I attended college for 2 full semesters,
Okay.
but have no degree to reflect.
Okay. And did you have a certain major you were focusing on?
I was focusing on automotive technology and philosophy.
Okay. Did you enjoy it? Why did you decide to leave?
I loved automotive. I just hated the idea of doing the same monotonous task on repeat for the rest of my life.
Okay.
And I didn't feel like there was enough creativity involved in oil changes, brake bleeds, the whole 9 yards. And philosophy captured my attention. I just didn't have the patience to sit through thinking about life more than I already do. So
Okay.
left that field as well. Just want to pursue something that gives me that creative freedom.
Okay.
I know I keep bringing it up, but
Yeah,
creativity, very
I
important.
get it. All right. So when you were in high school, what courses were you the best at? What classes did you enjoy?
Honestly, surprisingly, so I went to a private Catholic high school, and I really valued theology.
Okay.
Not because it was God-centered or God-focused, or even that religion reflects my own values and beliefs, more so than anything, just to have an open conversation about some more heavy topics, for me was really freeing, and I appreciated that. Honestly, more than any other classes I was a part of, except maybe guitar. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, I can see why you'd go into philosophy then if you enjoyed those aspects of
Yeah.
your theology class.
Yeah.
So what about the opposite? What courses were you not good at? Did you not enjoy?
Never been a math guy,
Okay.
never been a science guy. The propensity to sit down at a desk and learn without being able to use my hands is not something that I've ever been good at. I don't like having to be forced to learn something that to me doesn't feel useful. Not to sound like a hippie.
No, that's okay. I mean, they don't really use math and science in philosophy, so.
No, they don't. Just rocks up hills. Sisyphus.
So did you have any teachers that you had a lot of influence on you?
Yeah, an English teacher that started a little bit later into my tenure, my high school tenure. She was really, really good at connecting with students that kind of had a harder time or a more difficult background. And I felt a personal friendship with this teacher, and they definitely changed my outlook on reading and some of the more fine arts focused things that our student base was more interested in. Am I allowed to use names? Oh yeah, Olivia Fehrenbacher was amazing.
So you liked that she connected with you?
Yeah. Well, I felt like I could talk to her about anything outside of English, and to be able to pull it back around and to develop a personal friendship with someone of authority that has that ability to bring it back into interest for the subject that they're teaching
Mhm.
is a really powerful tool that I think a lot of teachers have and don't use.
Mhm.
So I really respected her for being able to kind of rope in the students that had a little bit more going on upstairs.
Okay. So do you feel like you were one of those students?
Without sounding narcissistic, yes.
Okay.
Just the inability to focus and the teacher to take the time to, again, rope back in.
Mhm.
It's really important, I think.
Mhm. So are you interested in returning to school at all?
Yeah, I think about it all the time. I really don't want to go to another community college experience. If I were to go back to school, it would be full commit, a 4-year institution,
Okay.
obtain a degree, and use that for, the rest of my life potentially. There's something with the community college experience that feels like it's not a full effort from me. I don't know. I need that commitment. I need something to grasp onto and say, okay, I'm here now for 4 years. This is it. I'm doing it. Instead of, I scheduled this one class for 5:30 to 6:30, and I'm just gonna waste the rest of the day or potentially work. I'd love to go back to school.
So your previous college experience was at a community college then?
Yeah.
Okay. And you prefer to go back to a 4-year?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have anything that you're leaning towards or interested in if you were to do that?
The engineering aspect of things has always interested me, but again, the
Okay.
math and the science don't work out.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to kind of find a path that would fit best.
Mhm. Yeah, a lot of engineering does have a lot of math and science involved. So. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to your current employment. Tell me about your work history.
So I currently work at Holt Supply, which is a plumbing fixture and HVAC specialty warehouse. We serve homeowners, contractors, anybody that really walks in to our showroom. We're more than happy to help. I've been with them for 5 years, and I've done everything from delivery to customer service to management. In conjunction for a little bit of supplemental salary, I worked as a server at Jupiter's at the Crossing for a couple of months, on and off, just to help me out through some tough times. Neither thing has really interested me. Holt's just been stable money, and there are moments where I feel like I can get into a flow state and enjoy what I'm doing, but it's pretty rare and not something that I even look forward to in the times in between. Other than that, I've just helped out as the unofficial assistant manager for a record store in Urbana. I just sweep the floors and hang out and drink coffee.
So that's currently then?
Yep.
Okay. So you've been with Holt, you said, for 5 years, right?
Yep.
So you said you've had different jobs in it?
Yeah, I started as our delivery driver in 2016 and moved into our warehouse/inventory position the following year. Subsequently moved into our counter/customer service position, where I was meeting with contractors all the time for material. Took a small break and went over to our Burlington branch and did management for a little bit, and then came back, worked the counter position again, and then within the last year I moved up into our showroom. The title's showroom manager, but really it's just run the showroom and meet all the people that come in and be the face of customer service for them. So it's a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of interacting with other people, being delivery, customer service, showroom manager, right? You're interacting with a lot of people.
I like people, I just don't like dealing with, I don't enjoy people laying all of their problems out on me.
Okay.
When it comes to a specific service, for some reason, I'm not sure what it is, people feel the freedom to tell me about the entire scope of their life when all I'm trying to do is sell them a faucet. And if there's any way to get away from that and be able to just do some of the more background based work, I would prefer if more people were removed from my daily tasks.
Okay. So you just kind of like to get it done and move on to the next thing rather than kind of hang around and
Yeah.
talk about other issues.
Yeah.
Okay. So what types of work do you like to do?
I really like to do anything that involves my natural skills. So I feel like I'm pretty proficient at anything mechanical. I love working on cars. I love building things. Several times people have called me for help on furnaces, water heaters, bathroom remodels, and just being a part of that hands-on experience is where I feel like I learn the best, do the best, and feel the best about the work that I'm doing. I don't get a lot of personal satisfaction out of sitting at a desk for 8.5 hours and shelling faucets to old ladies that don't know what they want.
Yeah, so it sounds like you like to get something done and see the progress in it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Getting that end result and seeing it, amazing.
Okay.
I need it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned that you don't like to sit at a desk all day.
I hate it.
So is there anything particular about that you don't like? Like what kind of work do you not like?
I don't like not having the creative freedom to make things.
Okay.
When I'm at a desk, I can have all the ideas that I would normally have elsewhere, but no outlet to push them to. So sometimes I'll use that to take liberties with people's design process in terms of choosing faucets, lights, accessories that will work best for what little they're giving me for their design. And that's really the only route I can take it. There's not much else I can do to get that energy out. So more often than not, I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs between times clients are in, and would much prefer to be moving and thinking and doing rather than sitting and advising.
Okay. So you, for part-time work, you said you were a server at Jupiter's.
Yes.
And you're at a record store. Do you have any other part-time jobs maybe earlier on in your career process?
When I was in high school, every day of the week I would go home and ride my bike up to Monocle's Pizza in Rantoul to make pizza for 6 hours. And that, I think that did influence my career path in some way, because I do some of my best work under stress, and being in a fast-paced food service environment felt really fulfilling for me, even though I don't traditionally enjoy food service jobs. The rate the tickets came out felt like a challenge. To make sure that I had a clean slate was a really exciting thing for me.
Okay.
And it really pushed me towards establishing personal goals for my own projects. To imagine that there was that stress, I miss it.
So it sounds like one of your first jobs you found out early on that you liked a certain kind of environment that's fast-paced and challenges you.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So do you intentionally seek out any certain type of job?
Recently, yeah, I've been seeking out more maintenance-based jobs or installation-based jobs for things a little bit more technical that I feel attract my brain a little bit more. Traditionally, over the last 5 years, I've been seeking out more office-based jobs, just because I always thought that was the path that needed to be, that success was defined by how big your desk is. But there's a lot more that goes into it. So I think as of right now, I seek mostly physical labor jobs.
Okay. Is there any specific reason for that?
Mostly because the moment that I started sitting at a desk more was the moment I started putting on more weight again.
Okay.
And I need to be moving around. I don't have the discipline after hours to take care of myself.
Okay, interesting. All right, so gonna move on to some other questions about your career development here. Do you have any experience with volunteer work? What do those look like?
I do and I don't. As part of our requirements for graduation at this private Catholic high school, we had to do what was called service hours, and that meant that a certain amount of time had to be allotted to almost forced volunteer work,
Okay.
just for the purpose of graduating. So I spent a lot of time at a Sunday school as a teacher's assistant on weekends. Other than that, I think about serving at a food kitchen pretty often, and just haven't, especially with the last year that we've had not knowing what soup kitchens are open, what the requirements are. I just never raised the phone to ask, and I feel horrible about it, but I don't know, haven't done it.
Yeah, it certainly puts a lot of issues out there with that.
Yeah.
So Zach, how do you like to spend your leisure time?
Sleeping.
Sleeping? That's it?
If I'm not sleeping, I'm either building a project, usually out of wood for friends, or at home playing guitar or writing. I'm not super passionate about movies. I do love music though. So it's kind of a rotation of those things. Sleep is like an escape where you don't have to think about anything, and you don't have to be anyone. You don't have to wear any facade. Your brain can just let go. And it's a universal experience, but I think that a lot of people don't dream, and that makes me really sad, because those are some of the moments that make me the happiest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like that creative aspect, isn't it?
Yeah. Letting go.
Yes. So, what was your childhood like dream job?
I don't know if I ever really had a dream job. I think growing up, I had the freedom to be a little bit more self-aware. We didn't have a lot of friends near us. We were on, I grew up in Rantoul on an ex-Air Force base. So there weren't a lot of long-standing families there. The base retired in '92. So by the time families were moving in, none of them were able to have any sort of township legacy. So I didn't make a lot of friends and had a lot of time to think. And in that thinking, I came to the realization that I don't dream about working.
Right, okay.
The only thing that I ever really thought about maybe wanting to be was, I think, a similar dream for a lot of young white boys in the mid-2000s, which was to be a rock star.
Okay.
You know, to be the front man with the guitar and the voice and everything that came along with that dream package that was tossed to us on TV and anywhere else they could get then. Other than that, I didn't really want to be anything.
Okay. Well, you said you play guitar, so it sounds like there's still a little bit of a rock star in you.
Maybe.
And you said you do write, so maybe it's your songs or stories or...
The goal is someday.
Okay, cool. So who do you think has had the greatest influence on your career choices?
My coworker John,
Okay.
who I've known for the last 5 years, has been somewhat of a voice of reason where I haven't had that. He's been influential mostly in a poor way than he has in a good way, in terms of overthinking a lot of things. He's an ex-psych major from the University of Illinois. He graduated, I think, in 2009. And just the way he's able to paint things, I think in a lot of ways forced me to realize that I needed to have more gratitude for my current position. But in that gratitude, I only end up staying longer. So it's caused a lot of personal growth and professional growth, but it never really inspired me to leave until I stopped listening to him.
Okay, so it kind of had the opposite effect then.
I think so.
Okay. Interesting.
Still the greatest influence though, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have anyone who has helped you maybe decide what you want to do in particular? Any role models or anyone you know who has your
Best interests.
maintenance jobs that you enjoy?
I think my good friend Jesse, who owns that record store in Urbana, he's able to see things in a really distant third person view, and always puts it out so clear. Hey, Zach, you need to stop doing this. Hey, maybe you should start doing this. And I don't know. I guess I get so insecure about choices that I hear him and I know he's right, and maybe I'll take it in time, but I never take the advice off the bat. I think it stems from my own narcissism. I want to believe that it's coming from me, that I'm the one making that choice. But that usually just ends up leading to more passive time loss.
Okay. Do you have any physical limitations that might prevent you from doing certain type of jobs?
I don't think so. I'm a little overweight, but I think I'm pretty healthy for my age. And, lifting's always been a part of the job that I've been at currently, and I don't struggle at all.
Okay. And then just kind of moving into some more medical history, do you have any like physical disorders that you've been diagnosed with?
Nope.
Okay. Do you have any diagnosis with psychological disorders?
Yeah.
That might influence your career?
Yeah, I actually I take 2 medications for depression and anxiety.
Okay.
Do I need to disclose those?
No, that's okay.
But those kind of keep me a little bit more stable, a little less manic, depressive, flip-flopping all the time. Keeps it easy.
Well, that's good.
I don't think those affect me in the workplace at all. They might make me a little bit lazier than I used to be.
There's always a few of those side effects.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could describe your ideal day, your ideal working day, what would that look like?
When I get to whatever office I need to report to, I'm given a list of tasks and complete freedom to do them however I choose to do them, and praised for the level of work that I do put into, especially when creative solutions are involved to get there. I don't have a specific example, but any loose pattern that follows that ideology would be preferable.
Okay. Do you have like a specific time period you want to work, like the classic like 9 to 5 nights?
I liked my favorite time to work is between 7:30 and 4.
Okay.
To have that night freedom is really important, but the earlier the better, just to knock it out and be able to actually enjoy a night is really important to me.
Okay. So, along with your ideal day, what is your dream job? If you could have anything, get paid to do it.
If I could have an isolated barn out in the country that I could work on cars that I care about and also provide service to people in a town nearby for cheaper than most dealerships or service centers would do, but also be able to build furniture that I can sell at a boutique consignment shop in said town, and drink coffee with my bird pets, cat pets, and significant other would be honestly the dream experience for me all around.
Okay, that sounds like you got a whole dream plan out there.
Lots of cats. Gotta
Lots
have
of cats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe one dog.
And a bird, maybe.
And a couple birds.
Okay.
Big birds.
So what do you think that your top 3 skills that you have to offer are to an employer?
I think my work ethic is definitely something that sells me a little bit higher than most people in, I'm assuming we're the same age, in our age range. I think that general self-awareness and empathy provides a really strong team base.
Okay.
And is missing from a lot of people. I could be reading that totally wrong. And gosh, to think of a third one. I think that critical thinking / creative solution finding
Okay.
mental resource is really important.
Okay. Is there anything that you find that you can do easily that other people, your peers, cannot do as well? What comes natural to you that others don't? That other people might find difficult?
I think doing things intuitively when it comes to building
Okay.
is something that I usually get praise for. It comes as natural as writing does. When you hit a moment that you know what project you're building in your head, you don't need measurements, you just need material and tools in front of you, and you can make it,
Mm-hmm.
is not something that I've found a lot of people are familiar with. I feel like I can break a lot of things down into individual pieces in my head if I just look at the object long enough. I used to do that with cars all the time. I would break it down piece by piece from intake manifold to oil sump pan. Think about every bolt that's in there after one glance, and then identify a problem based on a sound. And that intuition, I think, is definitely my strongest point.
Okay. That's very awesome. So what might be difficult for you that comes to others easily?
Planning.
Planning.
I'm a horrible planner. I can't for the life of me make an accurate list or a timetable of what I need to do and when I need to get it done, and follow said plan. The moment I plan something is the moment I don't do it.
Okay.
I routinely get called flaky, poor attendee, bad friend, because I don't like planning things. The spontaneity is what I need to make something worth my time, which is such a bad way to look at it. I can't plan, and a lot of employees need to be able to have that independence, but that's the one thing that I need out of work, is to be given a task. I can complete it to its fullest and then some without supervision, but I have to have that thing handed to
Like
me.
you said, in your ideal working day, you'd be given a list, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to create it.
Yeah.
Then you just go out and do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what, can you name like 3 to 5 values that you have that are relating to work that would be most important to you to have it in a career?
The values from the employer or from myself or
For
shared?
yourself.
For myself. 5 values from myself.
3 to 5.
3 to 5. I guess I don't really know how to answer the question. The core values that I would need out of employment.
Something that's just important to you, that you would like to get out of a job. Something in your life, like you mentioned, freedom.
Yeah, I suppose
Something like that.
teamwork,
Okay.
independence, and what I mean by independence, to tie all the ideas together so far, is again that task given with no supervision, and yeah, 'cause this is kind of hard to answer.
That's okay.
I suppose some praise for the work.
Like recognition.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like when I get told I do a good job.
Yeah.
I just want a gold star every now and again. It's not a lot to ask for. Why can't employers just hand out gold stars?
You just be okay with them putting a little gold star on your name tag or something?
Yeah, put it on the check, hide one under my
There you go.
computer. I don't care. I just want them. There's
That's
one
awesome.
there's one on my box right now.
Oh yeah, there it is. So how do you typically go about making your decisions?
I get a thought in my head, and then I pursue that thought.
Just whatever comes to mind?
Yep.
Okay. So when you're deciding on your career, how would you like this next career decision to be different than your normal thought process, your decision-making process?
I think that I would prefer if the thought process could stay the same and
You prefer it to stay the same?
the job change to allow that to not make me have to learn another personal skill. Not that I want to avoid growth, but if I can use what comes natural to a personal benefit,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather stay unique to who I am than learn what would typically be classified as normal.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe I do sound like a hippie. I'm hearing myself and not sure if I'm real anymore. Anyway,
No, it makes sense. So what role has your family played in how you see yourself and your career options?
that is a loaded question. There's a lot going on there. My family in the last 6 years has not influenced my career decisions at all.
Okay.
I still hear my dad's voice in the back of my head asking for me to be a little bit more grateful for the position I have in life. But ultimately, that's what led to his and my mom's downfalls with their careers,
Mhm.
is holding on to something a little too long, expecting it to change for the better, and then dealing with the psychological trauma that comes with hating something that you do 30% of your life.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any siblings that have helped influence you at all? Or?
I mean, I have 4 siblings, but none of them have been influential, really.
Okay.
Just kind of always done my own thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. Same question for your culture. So how has your culture played a role in how you see your career options?
Growing up Catholic in some version of suburbia, my culture has mostly lent itself towards white collar applications,
Mm-hmm.
and betraying that identity to be a little bit more hands-on with my lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
I think was what has worked best for me and my personality.
Mm-hmm.
But there is always the voice in the back of my head saying, okay, but maybe you could do a desk job. Maybe you could be in a cubicle at a high rise,
Mm-hmm.
30 floors in the air, with a boss who's got a really cool necktie on every day and kind of puts his arm on the shoulder of the cubicle and sips his cup of coffee and
Mm-hmm.
tries to connect, but he's really out of touch.
Okay.
And I don't even know if he's left the building or seen the sun in the last 40 years. I don't know how old he is.
Mm-hmm.
He could be 150, he could be 1,000, he could be 56.
Yeah.
So I don't think that my culture has really had a big influence on my career decisions thus
Mhm.
far.
Well, it kind of sounds like it's kind of made you have those thoughts in the back of your head a little bit
Mhm.
as you've kind of progressed and discovered that you like to do the hands-on stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think is keeping you from making a decision that helps you to reach your goal?
Fear.
Fear?
Every time I think about something that's slightly out of reach or something that I would have to change for, I get scared and I clam up and I decide that it's easier to stay somewhere that I'm comfortable and don't have to grow than somewhere that I have to change and fix the problems with myself to do.
Mm-hmm.
So clinging to those natural instincts and not wanting to change is ultimately my biggest downfall when it comes to career changing or career advancing positions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's pretty common for a lot of people is that fear factor there.
Well, it's scary.
Mhm.
You change your job and you hate it. That's your source of income.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you afford everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I trade out a little bit of comfort and sit at a desk and hold supply and make good money doing it, that I can afford the lifestyle I have, sometimes I'd rather do that than
Mhm.
jump ship and not know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that insecurity in a person's self is, I wouldn't say impossible to get over, but at least for me, really hard to get over.
So at this moment right here, what is your current career plan?
I have to decide for myself what would make me happiest, and I haven't figured that out completely yet.
Okay.
But I think it involves something that I do creatively by myself in some little shed. Maybe I film YouTube videos of it and create a following and sell products online. Maybe I just build things and sell them at a consignment shop.
Mm-hmm.
But starting that process of turning a hobby into kind of a self-made startup, I think would be best for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So learning more about entrepreneurship.
Okay. So it sounds like you have a pretty good grasp on your interests and where you want to go, of how you like to work on hands-on things and be creative, but yet being able to do that independently. Like you said, you just want to find the thing that makes you happiest, and there's a lot of different options it sounds like you have in your mind that can lead you there. So there's definitely a lot of options there, and you definitely have the right idea of finding something that you already enjoy and making a career out of it. So that's awesome. That's a great first step. So it sounds like I've gathered enough information here, and we can move on to the next step. So I will see you in our next session. Zach, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
All
I'd
right.
shake your hand, but 6 feet, elbows only.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.